Today, she's the most famous, middle-aged, Middle English, mum of two and part-time Kabbalah devotee called Esther in the world. But she'll always be good old Madonna to the legions who've known and loved her through an astonishing 22-year career.
Grabbed my hand, pulled me in the room, and we did it.
Madonna, pure of name, but naughtiest woman in pop.
I need to have sex now. I want sex now. All right, Madonna, I'm gonna fly from Vegas to New York. I'll be right there.
She's been a raving sore spot since her teens.
She took off all her clothes, and she just had an absolutely perfect body for a 16-year-old.
She's made sweet music with myriad men.
She was very promiscuous, and she was never true to one person.
She's even loved up several ladies.
I'd say she's quite a good kisser.
And made her shocking sexuality a global brand.
It's hard to think of anybody else who was happy to say, yeah, you know what? I jerk off, and I like it.
Don't we all? Still, being a dirty girl is the only constant in Madonna's ever-changing reign as Queen of Pop. This carnal chameleon has been an 80s thrift shop icon, platinum blonde sex bomb, lipstick lesbian, S&M dominatrix, and now suburban Jewish mother. Oy vey. And with each new incarnation comes a new sexual accessory. So many image changes, so many squeezes, such massive success. It's clear no one in pop has ever used both media and sex to such potent effect as her Madge.
She was on a mission to be a star, and I was just one step in the ladder. And if you look at the ladder, you can name every step, you know.
Tonight we discover exactly what it was like to have Madonna's blonde, and sometimes brunette, ambition thrust upon you, as we meet those who've actually done it with the raunchiest woman in pop history.
We had sex, I think the second time I saw her.
She had that nice lyric. Oh, you know.
She's the kind of girl that would fake orgasms.
If a girl does that, you know you're doing something right.
Born in Michigan in 1958, Madonna Louise Ciccone lost her mother when she was just 5. By her teens, although bright, studious, and already a gifted dancer, she was rebelling against her Catholic dad, mainly by doing wrong things with wrong boys.
Madonna's always been attracted to creative and intelligent men.
Her first childhood sweetheart was creative and intelligent 16-year-old high school hunk and pubescent wild man, Win Cooper.
There was this, you know, slightly dark-skinned, very dark-haired girl with an unusual name of Madonna. She also was far and away the best dancer in our high school, and she was a cheerleader. You normally think of cheerleaders as being, you know, hanging out with jocks and athletes, but she didn't really do that.
No, Madonna liked them bad, and despite appearances, Win was the baddest boy on the block.
I was kicked out of high school constantly. I was busted for pot. I had a police record before I was 16.
What a catch.
We went out. Madonna and I had a lot of fun together. One afternoon on a very hot day when we went skinny dipping, and she took off all her clothes, and I was sitting there in the swimming pond looking at her thinking, wow, she just had an absolutely perfect body for a 16-year-old, and if I didn't want to sleep with her, then I really should kick myself pretty hard right now.
Apparently, she wouldn't let him, but Win turned swollen-trousered teen frustration into art.
I had a film class in high school, and we were required to make a film, and I got together with Madonna and a woman named Carol, and I decided that I would have Madonna take a raw egg and break it open above her head and break it and let it fall into her mouth and then look straight at the camera and slowly spit it out, and it runs down her chin and down between her breasts. She's wearing a little bikini. And then we decided to have Carol come out and crack an egg into the sort of hollow spot by her navel. Then suddenly there was a fried egg on her stomach. Carol comes out and eats it off of her stomach. She was much more likely to do just about anything in front of the camera, and that was sort of an early sign of her love of being outrageous. My teacher liked it. I got an A on it.
But young Madge was left with egg on her face, quite literally, when her boyfriend director cut and ran.
A girl from New Jersey moved into our town, and I was so taken by her accent that I had to leave Madonna for the girl with the New Jersey accent, and it's really sad, but true. I like to think I helped put her belly button on the map.
In 1978, Madonna hoofed it from Dullsville, Michigan, for the bright lights of New York, dreaming she'd make it as a dancer. Predictably, times were tough. No work, no friends, no money. But the big time appeared to beckon when she landed a plum role in this low-budget art film. She played the high priestess of an orgiastic cult, which meant acting.
I mean, they've made themselves slaves to me. They idolize me. They adore me and they depend on me.
And in a somewhat shambolic fashion, they also shag her. Oddly, despite Madonna's superhuman efforts, a certain sacrifice wasn't a hit. Time for a new direction, and a new, useful boyfriend.
She's 19 years old. She wasn't looking to settle down, for sure. She was looking for opportunities.
Dan Gilroy was an underground musician and artist when he met Madonna in 1979. Her relationship with dashing Dan would change the focus of her ambitions forever.
So I saw Madonna at this party. I took one look at her. I said, this is a woman that I want to spend the next 15 minutes or more with. And it worked out to be even more.
Yes, they started living in sin. In what looks like a synagogue, together.
She was a terrific girlfriend. She was decidedly low maintenance, emotionally low maintenance. She wouldn't lean on you. She was very romantic, I thought. Like, you know, she'd sing little romantic things. She took me to my first salad bar. That was a romantic memory. She'd get up early in the morning and go stretch near the window, and I'd like do one of those, you know, and she was really amazing looking.
Yes, wherever she was, it seemed Madonna was always on stage.
Well, Madonna, admittedly, was very flirtatious and wanted everyone to love her and adore her, and it was dangerous, a little dangerous, all of that. She wasn't into music at all at that point as a performer, just as a dancer.
Crucially, this all changed when she joined Dan's band, which, soon enough, had a new lead singer.
It looked like a natural with her in the front of the band, which didn't sit well with the rest of us.
He was one of many to underestimate Madge's ambition, and the affair ended over Welsh vegetables.
I came home from work and she had a bowl of something, leeks or something, and I had that was my impression. It was housewife E. Call me a whore, a slut, call me a whatever. Don't call me a housewife. Just don't do that. I was in love with Madonna. You know, breakups are never fun. For me, I mean, it took me a while, you know, this is a wonderful person that showed up here.
More breakups after the break, and more useful boyfriends.
We spent hundreds of hours necking in the studio in between takes.
And shocking revelations.
She actually has straight vaginal hair, like a horse's mane. Really.
Like a virgin, hey.
Did you know that Direct Line could drive down what you're paying for your car insurance by up to 30%? Call or buy online.
Clean up this summer with free tickets to Alton Towers, only with Imperial Leather.
Outcast, Speaker Box, The Love Below, jam-packed with goodies, including roses, The Way You Move, and my personal favorite, Hey Ya. Speaker Box, The Love Below from my mates, Outcast. Wow, they always get me going.
Chris, this is Claire. She's going to whip this place into shape.
Bacardi Breezer, now available in Diet Lemon.
New Walls Cornetto, give it to me.
But it's Forest Fruit Ripple. It's for me.
That's what you think. Let me be frank. Give me Cornetto and you'll get a spank.
Try all 6 limited edition Luck Potions from Walls. This week in OK, Big Brother Stuart and Michelle, their long-term romantic plans, plus Joanna Taylor's wedding, only in OK.
My age? I'm about to be 44.
With Rock's new Retinox Correction, it's proven your wrinkles could look 10 years younger.
All over body fragrance. Love every bit.
Enter the panoramic dimension.
L'Oreal invents Panoramic Curl, its first wide-eye mascara. 360-degree fan-out separation effect and extreme curve shaped by its unique Flexitech formula.
Curve and separation for a panoramic lash display.
New Panoramic Curl from L'Oreal Paris.
Makes me wish I was a blue whale. Why? Because the blue whale's got the biggest tongue in the whole world. Taste buds like basketballs. Over here, you got your sweet taste buds. Here, your bitter taste buds. Strongbow, unlike most other drinks, gets them both very excited. Cheers.
Bitter, sweet, Strongbow. It's what your taste buds would order.
Take the kids over the school holidays with 99p deals from Iceland. Hop down to Iceland, only 99p each.
Ooh, these are so fresh, right? It's like dinny skipping in the middle of winter, and they're sugar-free.
New Trebor sugar-free mints. So fresh they make your dung tizzy.
We all have room for improvement, but you could be hiding the real value of your home. Let Colin and Justin into your living room as they reveal the 20 quickest ways to lose money on your property. 8 o'clock Sunday on 5.
New York, 1981, and 23-year-old pop star wannabe Madonna Ciccone was now making her mark on the Big Apple club scene.
She was on a mission to be a star, and I was just one step in the ladder. And if you look at the ladder, you can name every step, you know.
Mark Kamins was the DJ at the most famous nightclub in Manhattan, Danceteria. His animal magnetism drew Madonna to him, like a magnet.
He had a little cassette, and she was always hanging out in the DJ booth. And I listened to it and played it. And I got a great response on the dance floor.
And an even better response from Mark.
She was gorgeous, and she stood out when she hit the dance floor, and, you know, we connected. We were living together in a little railroad flat on the Upper East Side. We had no money. We were sleeping on egg crates. Well, she wasn't a homemaker.
Home comforts were low in Madonna's priorities.
I bought some lingerie for her one night, and she wasn't really into putting it on. You know, she's the kind of girl that would fake orgasms.
And there's more.
She actually has straight vaginal hair, like a horse's mane. Really, it's not curly. She really was on her mission. I think having a boyfriend was secondary. And she was very promiscuous, and she was never true to one person. She knew how to use her sexuality to manipulate men or promotion guys or radio programmers. Sure.
Even back then, Madge was using sex as a weapon. And with Mark's help as producer, her debut single, Everybody, started climbing the charts. This innocent little tune was apparently a tribute to Mark, explaining to us all how great DJs are. The low-budget video attempted to recreate the heady atmosphere of Mark's club.
The first single came out, went to #1. I think Madonna felt like she needed a more experienced producer. I introduced her to Jelly Bean at the Funhouse.
What's your name?
Jelly Bean.
Hey, I have some jelly beans. You want some?
Yeah, sure.
John Jellybean Benitez was the hottest producer in New York and another useful boyfriend.
So again, she moved on to the next producer. And then I guess working in the studio, they fell in love. She started going out with Jelly Bean. She just kind of dropped me like a lead balloon.
She told me one day, oh, I'm completely in love with this really great Spanish boy. Then that was Jelly Bean Benitez.
Oh my gosh, I'm in love with this person. He's the most important person in my life. Not only that, he's a record producer. Wow, what a great coincidence.
We spent hundreds of hours necking in the studio in between takes.
Crikey, and they still found time to make records.
We had a very open relationship. It was part of, my lifestyle, her lifestyle. We were together, I don't know, for about 1.5 years. I believe that, we were meant to meet and work together. A lot of great things came of that working relationship.
But Madonna's career only went stratospheric with her inaugural act of network televised filth, a now legendary bump and grind in a wedding dress.
Writhing on the floor and basically humping the floor. It was a really eye-opening performance, and it really shot the song right to #1. It really made the Madonna legend.
Definitely a milestone retrospectively, but at the time, just sort of the rantings of a mad woman.
No one expected the kind of success that she had. Lots of little girls dressing up like her, and it's like, I'd be walking down the street and see all these sort of Madonna clones and thinking it was Madonna walking. I'd never seen anything like that in the music business.
Madonna is totally awesome. And she's so unique.
I believe the spotlight is what she had always wanted.
Indeed, rather more than she wanted Jelly Bean.
He definitely interjected his opinion and kind of helped her out at the very beginning. But when things started to really take off, she knew she was the star, and that was the end of her relationship with Jelly Bean.
I think that she wasn't really capable at that time of understanding, what that means to actually be in love with a person is more than just being infatuated with a record producer.
It eventually just evolved into more of a working relationship.
Farewell then, Jelly Bean, chewed up, gobbed out.
Madonna is Susan.
Hollywood was quick to exploit Madonna mania. A supporting part suddenly became a starring role, with a critically acclaimed performance that didn't require much acting.
The character in Desperately Seeking Susan is very, very close to Madonna, and I think that's she was incredible in that film.
Jimmy!
Who's the stranger?
It's a long story.
She was acting like somebody very similar to the Madonna that I knew in high school, and that's, maybe why she pulled it off so brilliantly.
Bye-bye, Bruce. It was fun, huh?
Madonna was now a bona fide film star. Time to become a proper Hollywood diva.
Of course, Madonna's the great Marilyn Monroe imitator. Witness Material Girl, that whole set where she basically imitated Marilyn doing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Some boys roam and some boys slow, that's all right with me.
And this full-fronted Marilyn impersonation caught the eye of a bright young star visiting the set. Bingo!
She called me up and she says, guess who I'm in love with? It's one of the Brat Pack. And I named every one of them except him. And she would get more and more pissed at me. And I'm like, I don't know. This is a guessing game. I don't know. And then finally she had to tell me.
20 years ago, Sean Penn was the hottest new hunk in Hollywood, the baddest boy in the notorious Brat Pack. He was the perfect partner for the controversial diva.
Madonna got very stuck where Sean Penn is concerned, because I think Sean pushed a button, and by pushing that button, she was stuck on it for a minute.
It wasn't, in my view, until she met Sean Penn that Madonna actually understood what it meant to be in love with somebody.
Madonna said that Sean Penn was the love of her life.
Within 6 months of meeting, they got hitched in a ceremony Madonna later compared to a scene from Apocalypse Now.
We didn't know where the wedding was until the last minute. But then when we got there, we could see that there was a leak because all the helicopters were going the same way. Sean wrote "fuck you" on the sand, but in really big letters so it could be seen from the sky.
Not quite Kim Marsh and Jack Ryder then. Although Sean's media-shy attitude didn't rub off on his far from blushing bride.
She loved to be in front of the camera. She loved to have her picture taken. Sean hated it.
But Madonna's PR radar couldn't be jammed. She gleefully used the marital media circus for some free self-promotion in a primetime comedy show. This spoof wedding video saw grumpy bad boy Sean played by hunky bad boy Robert Downey Jr., while Madonna made a reasonably convincing Madonna. So, with her marriage going down in Hollywood history, it was time for Madonna and Sean to go for a Burton and Taylor. Unfortunately, the result, Shanghai Surprise, was, well, Shanghai Surprise.
I don't volunteer to pass the salt.
You've got to help me. You've just got to.
In a miraculous piece of miscasting, Madonna portrayed a God-fearing charity worker forced to take her top off on a regular basis.
What are you doing?
When she tried in Shanghai Surprise to portray innocence and be a missionary, no one was buying it.
You're wasting your time. I'm not going to look.
There was no chemistry between the two of them on camera. It was unbelievable. It was like the black hole of chemistry.
And these scenes showed just how unconvincing she was in the missionary position.
I am a man of steel.
However, Madonna was still putting in quite a performance off camera.
In between takes, they were going off to her trailer. And as people told me who were in the film, the trailer was rocking back and forth.
Passions spilled over in public as well. Sulky Sean started to spontaneously combust in the media spotlight his wife loved so much.
No, the press that has slammed me, I say, F them.
It was a nightmare scenario. Yeah, he was beating up photographers.
An incident in their Malibu home was to prove the final straw.
And tied her up to a chair, and her help, the household help, found her tied up. She called the police.
He told me that he was eating his, Rice Krispies, and the police came. And I mean, it's all ridiculous, really, in retrospect, but it was very important at the time.
At that point, the marriage was over.
Indeed. In a haze of heavily publicized bust-ups, non-consensual bondage, and breakfast cereal, they split.
She loved him to death. And she definitely made that clear to me, that, I will always love Sean, no matter what.
I don't think when Madonna married Sean, she thought it was going to be just one of those fly-by-night showbiz marriages. She thought it was really going to last, and I think it was very upsetting when it didn't, and she learned a lot about herself and what it's like to really be committed to a relationship.
Still, never mind, eh? Before long, she was shinning higher than ever up the slippery pole of celebrity. If her previous bows had seemed useful, this one was your actual American royalty.
To Madonna, John F. Kennedy Jr. was the greatest, biggest sexual scalp she could possibly get. He was the biggest notch in her gun. He was the greatest prize that America had to offer. Prince Charming, the son of the president, the most handsome, sexiest man in America. By grabbing John F. Kennedy Jr., Madonna hit the jackpot.
He was a knight in shining armor. I mean, this guy would, come in and sweep you off your feet and, take care of you. And he was, young and protective. He didn't like the way she was being treated by Sean.
Madonna really saw herself as a latter-day Marilyn. Who else better to seduce than the son of the President Kennedy, who'd been Marilyn's lover? She did go to bed with John quite a few times, but she confided to someone that it was like going to bed with a 9-year-old.
This little boy's mummy was Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and even Madonna was impressed.
When John got home, there were messages from his mother, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and he told Madonna that. And Madonna told her flatmate, she said, "Think how far I've gone. Jackie O wants to know all about me."
But it seems the last thing Jackie Kennedy wanted was another Marilyn in the family.
And I was like, are you really seeing, and I just remember her saying, yeah, the mother hates me.
The Kennedys were Catholic, and she was still married at that time. And I really think that was Jackie's biggest issue with her. At some point along the way, Kennedy said, look, I have to choose between you and my mother, and I'm going to choose my mother.
Madonna bounced back. with a biblical broadside for the Catholic Kennedys and the church itself. Like a Prayer was an explosive mix of sexual and religious imagery, and the video in which she cavorts with a black Christ caused a storm of controversy.
Here she was using all this religious symbolism in her videos to promote herself while, you know, having sex with everyone on screen, and they were not happy with her at all.
No end and no beginning. You're here with me.
And the sight of her saucy stigmata resulted in an unholy Catholic backlash. She even managed to piss off the Pope.
Well, that was about the end of her in the Catholic Church. I mean, they'd been threatening all sorts of things, and I think that at that time, that was when she was going to tour in Italy, and it actually ended up with her getting the plug pulled on a couple of her performances.
I remember clearly, you know, going to Italy and going to some of the South American countries where they were burning effigies of her.
Still, Madonna had always enjoyed a relaxed attitude to religion.
The crucifix fell off her neck and into her jeans, and Madonna looked up and she said, "You see, even God wants to get into my pants."
This marked the end of Madonna's useful boyfriends. She'd even finished with God.
She wanted to be a sexual sort of revolutionist, and she was all about that.
And the revolution was televised straight away, with a controversial mission statement advocating total sexual freedom, steamily symbolized in the video by Madonna, a cat, and many men with muscles.
There have been times in Madonna's life when she has obviously enjoyed sex, and she's wanted to make sure that we knew that she enjoyed sex.
Madonna continued to push the sexual envelope, hanging out with openly gay, oddball comedienne Sandra Bernhard, thus making lesbianism immediately and totally trendy.
You know, it was fun for her to do the whole Sandra Bernhard thing, and Sandra is, you know, kind of a scary creature, and it was just, I think, fun for Madonna to be on that hip, cutting edge of, okay, you want to think I'm a lesbian? I'm not going to say no.
Madonna likes men, from what I know. Now, will she like some lesbian who's going to follow her and want and do anything for her? Of course she would.
It's kind of this blurred sort of reality. Were they really lovers, or were they just both playing with it?
Oh my God, got headlines and the tabloids were talking. So of course Madonna loves that. She'll go there.
Oh my God, Madonna's suddenly a lesbian. Has she given up men? Has Sean Penn turned her gay?
Who knows? But when Madonna moved on to a special friendship with Sandra's busy mate Ingrid Cesares, Sandra was very publicly miffed.
She sort of turned her back on Sandra, started playing around with Sandra's friend Ingrid, just really kind of, you know, left Sandra in the dust like she'd done all her boyfriends.
After the break, it's the wild and wayward 90s, with Meaty...
Grabbed my hand, pulled me in the room, and we did it.
Beatty, big and bouncy.
I need to have sex now. I want sex now. All right, Madonna, I'm gonna fly from Vegas to New York. I'll be right there.
Like a virgin. Hey.
If you could see the long-term damage UVA does to your skin, you'd use Sultan. The only complete range of 5-star UVA protection.
Essential R&B, the biggest hits from the hottest stars, featuring Snoop Dogg, Outkast, and 50 Cent. The only album with exclusives from Jaquan, Joe, and the massive #1 from Eamon. Essential R&B, slamming summer joints from R. Kelly, Usher, and Nelly. Essential R&B, summer 2004.
A 3-minute peak rate call on Vodafone, pay as you go, could cost you 90p.
Or with 3Pay, that exact same call could cost you 15p. 3Pay, pay as you go from 3.
Somebody's gonna miss me. Somebody's gonna miss me when I...
Sometimes you want your mates around.
I know you're gonna
And
miss
sometimes you don't. KFC popcorn chicken.
Digital's great. Digital cameras, phone cameras, we can shoot all we want. But we hardly ever print our pictures. And that's the best part of photography, pictures. Colourful, beautiful pictures you can feel in your hands or put in an album or in a frame. We miss real pictures and we want them now.
With the new Kodak kiosk, Kodak quality prints have finally come to digital. For digital prints in seconds, just look for the nearest Kodak kiosk sign. Pictures are back.
Now available at most Boots stores.
The women of Stepford are different.
You work out dressed like this?
I love your book. It was about your relationship with your mother. I love you, but please die.
Now, if they're not careful, they could be next.
What have they done to you?
The Stepford Wives.
Aren't robots cool?
Oh, yeah.
With Three's new pay-as-you-go service 3Pay, you can get voice minutes for just 5p. 3Pay, pay-as-you-go from 3.
Oh, favourite recipe sausages?
They're the new range from Walls.
Walls. Succulent pork, tasty sausage seasoning.
Table.
Look at that!
Look, cat! New favourite recipe sausages from Walls. So tasty, there'll be trouble.
To speak the language of power, you don't need to move your lips, just your hands.
Put your hands on! Put your hands on! Put your hands on! Put your hands on!
Naked Celebrity starts Monday at 9 on 5.
Like a virgin, hey! Everybody's got the fever.
It was 1989, and after a failed marriage to Sean Penn, rejection at the hands of JFK Jr., and a little extracurricular lady-loving, Madonna was now officially the most sexually decadent woman on the planet. Natural law dictated that it was now time to shag Warren Beatty.
Warren gave Madonna some class. To be quite frank with you, I think Warren was her a step into a gracefulness.
Madonna's state of grace was painfully apparent. In Vogue, both lyrics and video paid homage to the Hollywood elite she seemed to have joined.
Greta Garbo and Monroe, Dietrich and DiMaggio, Marlon Brando, Jimmy Dean, on the cover of a magazine.
Thanks to her new boyfriend, the queen of all media returned to the big screen, playing a comic book floozy. Yes, it was that acting thing again.
Seem hot to you?
Hot?
A confident, sexy performance with additional silly voice
Why'd you call me here?
made no bones about the chemistry between Madge and her new co-star.
You know that car?
What I'm looking for is a driver. Preferably one with some mileage.
We talked about Warren Beatty. I asked her how big his dick was. She said, again, I didn't measure it, but it was a perfectly good size.
Good, well that's that cleared up then. When Dick, Tracy, flopped, Madonna, the actress, decided to stick with what she was best at, playing Madonna, in a documentary about Madonna.
Okay. Da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum.
Brazen nudity,
Ooh.
saucy set pieces, and full frontal frotting underlined Madonna's attitude to life, the universe, and everything.
Hard to think of anybody else who was happy to say, yeah, you know what? I jerk off, and I like it.
I don't think you can look at In Bed with Madonna and say, now there's somebody I like to have in my life. No, you look at In Bed with Madonna and you say, thank goodness I don't have to know this woman.
And displays such as this intriguing lesson in glass blowing didn't, go down well with her boyfriend.
He really didn't want to be in the film at all, and he does look pretty reluctant in the movie, doesn't he?
You pussy man, get over here. What is with you?
There were some problems with Warren when it came to In Bed with Madonna, because she had tape recorded some of their conversations, and he felt that that was a huge invasion, and he wanted that out of the film.
Do you want to talk at all off camera? You have nothing to say.
She doesn't want to live off camera.
Do you want to live your entire life in front of the camera? And obviously she did, and obviously she has. So that was the end of his affair with Madonna.
Madonna's reaction? To get back into bed. With loads of people. In a video celebrating freedom of sexual expression and leather underwear. The breathy barrage of sexual commands saw Justify My Love smash through popular culture like a turbocharged erotic lorry.
Talk to me. Tell me your dreams. Am I in them? Tell me your fears.
It was supposed to look like, you know, this naughty Brigitte Bardot dirty French film from the 60s, and, you know, sort of updated to be even more sexual.
She was certainly upping the ante, and taking pop promos into new, uncharted and, at times, frankly bonkers territory.
It is playing with fantasy, possibly and very probably her fantasies, but I think fantasies that are shared by, you know, many people.
I don't want to be your sister either.
And one fantasy was real. Ladies kissing. Excellent.
And what was amazing about it was that what you actually see, the interaction, because it was so unpremeditated, was actually real. You know, you can't act something like that.
Justify My Love pushed things so far, it became the first video to be banned by MTV. Well done, everyone.
There was sort of like lesbian kiss and all this, you know, all this kind of thing going on, which I thought, personally, was absolutely hilarious.
When filming was over, Madonna wanted to continue off-screen what she'd started in the video.
There was a lot of communication over the following year, and I do know that if I'd have been open to taking, you know, what was on offer further, then that would, you know, something would have happened. Yeah, definitely.
Waiting.
I'd say she's quite a good kisser, yes.
Yes. Madonna's bits were everywhere, as she did whatever and whoever she wanted.
She does like the bad boy, and most hot chicks do anyway.
Ah, well, it was 1992, and Madonna was awakening the passions of one Rob Van Winkle, also known as Vanilla Ice, the 20-year-old chart-topping rapper.
She came to my concert, actually, in New York City. And then I met her afterwards, and I was just like, cool, this is awesome, you know? And she was hot. She wasn't like, let's hang out and go out with each other for a long time and then have sex. We had sex, I think, the second time I saw her. She totally came on to me. It was her idea, everything. It was in her house, everything. Grabbed my hand, pulled me in the room, and we did it. And it was great, and she loved it, we loved it, and I loved it, and it was fun.
Thank you.
We were comfortable with each other. It wasn't two celebrities, it was two people. We just had fun, man, that's all. It was just two people hanging out, having a good time, having fun, good sex, you know, whatever. We didn't think much more beyond that, you know? There wasn't like talk about where we're going or what's gonna go on. It was just, hey, let's hang out, let's have fun. It's cool. I didn't take any shit from her at all. Don't talk to me that way. And I would talk back to her. I'd hang up on her phone and shit, and it would just turn her on in some kind of reversible way, you know? I don't know, maybe she likes to push people around and they just take it, but I don't have any time for that shit, you know? And I did love her. I mean, she was great, you know? At one point, it was just the coolest thing ever. you know? Just really cool. She was, like I said, a sweetheart. Everything was so cool. And then the monkey wrench with the book came in and flipped the script on the whole deal, and there you have it, you know?
The book was called Sex, and it had pictures. Lots of pictures.
She had told me, like, yeah, I'm just working on my book. I'm thinking, you know, a little book, a normal book. Wow, no big deal, a book. Not this fucking porno book.
Was Madonna trying to push the boundaries of outrageous sexual expression to a new limit? Or was Sex just a self-promotional picture book designed to show off her numerous partners and techniques? Controversy raged. Critics argued, was this art or pornography? Whatever. It was the candid poses with her unwitting boyfriend which were really treading on thin ice.
She says to me, you know, let's take some pictures and stuff and do this, because everybody already knows anyway, why not? And I'm like, whatever. I didn't even care, I didn't even think about it. I'm just hanging out with her, and they start rattling off pictures. You know, here she is, and running around naked and doing her thing and hugging on me, and they're taking pictures and all this, and I had no idea what these pictures were gonna be used for or nothing, right? And then later, this sex book comes out, you know, this hard copy sex book thing, and I'm like, whoa.
Well, the sex book is probably the least sexy thing that she's ever done, because, you know, she's an icon. You know, why trash it with that kind of book, that kind of display of sort of vulgarity?
It didn't titillate anybody. It wasn't sexy.
And Vanilla agreed.
I didn't want to be a part of her slutty package, you know, at all. Ultimately, I was pissed off at her about it, you know. I'd hang up on her and shit. She'd call me and she goes, no, you know, I'm sorry. I thought it'd be okay and stuff, you know. Who are you sleeping with right now? You got some chick beside you and stuff? And I'm like, there's nobody sleeping with me. Everything's cool. I'm just pissed off at you right now. Leave me alone. Click. And it turned her on more and more, like me doing this to her. And I'm like, stop. I'm not trying to turn you on. I'm trying to turn you off. Like, you turned me off. Now I want to turn you off. And all of a sudden, instead of this cool little relationship we had, it was, you're just another fling or something, all of a sudden, like one of the people in her book. But it worked. Sold the millions of copies, made the millions of bucks, put her in the headlines.
Yes, Sex sold shedloads, surely confirming that Madonna must be really good at it.
You know, it wasn't like the best I've ever had or anything like that, but it was good. It was, you know, it was good.
Your mind when you least expect it.
Still hard at it, Madonna capitalized on the book's success with Erotica. The song was a manifesto of erotica.
Yourself go wild. Let my mouth go where it wants to. Give it up, do as I say. Give it up and let me have.
There was even a titillating training video for anyone who wanted to do it like Madonna.
I'll teach you how to.
By the time I got to In Bed with Madonna and Erotica and the sex book and all of that S&M business, she had lost her way.
Madge completed the set with her very own mucky movie. In an everyday tale of sadomasochism and murder, fabulously unconvincing scenes like these left critics claiming Body of Evidence was purely an excuse for a porn film, and Madonna a less than pure excuse for a porn star.
I couldn't believe it was as bad as it was. And I remember going to see it in the theater, and when she is shot and killed at the end and falls into the water, that people cheered. You know, they're like, oh, thank God this is over.
She does say that she has no regrets, and I think that that's probably true in the bigger picture, but I think that if she could take it back, the sex book and also that horrible movie, Body of Evidence, would be two of the things that she would probably not do.
By now, Madonna's role as predatory female was no longer limited to the movies.
She called my agent and asked me to fly to Miami to do a photo shoot, which that was bullshit. You know, so that was an excuse to get me down there. So I went down there to Miami to meet her, and that's the first time I met her.
Dennis Rodman was the most outrageous man in America. A tattooed, body-pierced, 6'6" basketball star who liked to wear dresses. Game on.
I stayed in the guest bedroom, and next thing you know, you got a knock on the door. I'm like, yeah, Madonna wants you in the room. What? I'm like, God damn. I'm like, do I really got to? All right. So walk down the hallway. She said, don't be scared, come next to me. I'm like, what? I said, whatever, man. I'm gonna do all that. She said, yeah, come on over here. And so we want to finish the story.
I did meet Dennis Rodman. He has very, very big feet and very, very big hands. Yeah. And from what I hear, very, very, very big feet. Yes.
The only thing I knew that she, you know, she had that nice lyric. You know, that means I love you. So, that kind of thing. If a girl does that, you know, you're doing something right. She called me a great specimen. She liked my body. I mean, she would always look at my body. And she'd look at her body, and she's like, wow, God, look at us. I'm like, you know, we're sitting there looking in the mirror up here. Look at us. Wow, look at you, look at me. God, our kid would be so beautiful. Got great body. I'm like, great legs. I'm like, yeah. So I think she was in love, man. She called me 10 times a day. I mean, all day long.
And I think she was getting some good loving. To be perfectly honest with you, I think Madonna may have almost got turned out by the brother. Just for a minute.
Dennis, I need to have sex now. I want sex now. All right, Madonna, I'm gonna fly from Vegas to New York. I'll be right there. Her body was well balanced. I give her that. She had a well balanced. I used to love, whenever I had sex with her, I used to like grab her tits and just give it just the once over, you know. Yeah, massage the hell out of them.
We all have had that really bad relationship that was just really hot sex. And every time you think about it in retrospect, you think, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And then you remember how great the sex was, and you're like, oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think a lot of people looked at us like, wow, we was a perfect match in a weird way, that she was out there and I was out there, and like they got along real well. But we really never publicly put ourselves out there. She actually asked me to marry her. She asked me. And I'm like looking at her like, what? What? Whoa, what's marriage, what? No, I think that was pretty much turn on for her, because she never had a guy to turn her down, I don't think. You know, Madonna, shit.
So they didn't get married then. And Madonna was, it seems, uncharacteristically red-faced at Rodman's lurid kiss-and-tell antics. He devoted an entire chapter of his autobiography to their intimate relations. And it was filthy.
I don't think she will ever talk to him ever again. As a matter of fact, we were in Miami one time, and he was there, and we were on Lincoln Road, and we passed in front of him, and we completely ignored him.
Coming up next, the First Lady of Raunch starts selecting menfolk for her most ambitious project to date.
She really wanted to have a child.
She definitely wanted to have kids. That was like on her mind.
Something is happening every evening across the UK. You can send free text from 7 to 8 p.m. when you join O2. See things differently. See what you can do. O2.
There's big cuddles, little cuddles, morning, noon and night cuddles. And now there's the soft wash cuddle. With 1/3 baby lotion and a new creamier lather, our new soft wash simply surrounds you with softness to leave skin even softer than before, which is going to mean even bigger cuddles. New Johnson's Baby Soft Wash. Now baby soft skin is doubly cuddly.
In the DFS summer sale, there's money off cuddling, money off chatting, money off putting your feet up, money off chilling, money off snoozing, even money off kissing. Because there's double the savings on a huge range in our summer sale. Every single sofa has 3 years free credit and everything's free for a year. So whatever you do on your sofa, with double sale savings on now, you can do it for less at DFS.
I called Norwich Union Direct to quote me happy on my car insurance, so it was quite reassuring when I ran into an old pal in town. I didn't do too much damage. Scratched the paintwork a bit, dented the wing.
Call 0800 888 999 and let Norwich Union Direct quote you happy.
Hip Hop Love, today's sexiest urban licks.
The very best hip-hop and R&B flavors. With the massive exclusive from Brandy. Plus some of the biggest names around. Missy Elliott, Ja Rule, Twister. The coolest cuts and the fattest beats. This is hip-hop love. Get it now.
Spider-Man 2 is swinging into Burger King this summer, and you can catch yourself some food fit for a superhero. The BK Double Hero Deluxe. 2 layers of 100% pure flame grilled beef, 2 slices of cheese topped off with wet fries and tangy onion relish, all for just $1.99. Make it a double bill with BK's new crispy golden web fries for only 99p. Plus, we've got the whole family covered with our webtastic Spider-Man meal box for the kids. Go on, get your spidey senses going. Got the urge? Get to Burger King.
All right, Trev. Yep. Nah. Nah.
Foster's especially brewed to taste better cold. So let's keep it that way.
Nice one, Trev.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Do you think my wife is beautiful?
What? What do you want me to say? Of course.
Because a woman like that will do almost anything to keep her.
There's a fire that burns in the coldest of hearts. Revenge, 9 o'clock tomorrow on 5.
In 1994, Madonna was the most famous woman in the world. She seemed to have it all, but she was 36 and single, and seemed a long way from the one thing she most desired.
Well, she wanted to have a baby. You know, there's things I didn't want to say, but that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to have a baby. And whenever she thought that she wanted to, you know, dad, you know, she'd call me and say, hey, Dennis, you know, I'm ready.
She definitely wanted to have kids. That was like on her mind. You could just tell, you know. She's getting older, so she wanted to have her kids, you know. I think I was first in line for a minute there, you know. And the whole thing just didn't work out, you know.
At that particular time, she definitely did want to have a child, and she was looking for the candidate.
Well, I know she always wanted to have, as she says, café au lait, café con leche, a child, yeah.
Enter Carlos Leon, fitness instructor and aspiring actor. Late in '94, Madonna met Carlos while jogging in Central Park and invited him for coffee. Con leche, we assume.
Yes, this is my special someone.
You know, when you see someone who looks like Carlos, you know, you get him close enough, I don't think you're gonna, like, you know, just be having tea.
He was like the total kind of Latin package. I mean, if you want a Latin package, boy, you can do much better than that.
She didn't need a father other than to be the sperm donor.
During the filming of Evita in 1995, Madonna discovered she was expecting Carlos's baby.
She knew that this could work out to her advantage. She would have a child. The child could have a nice father in the picture, and she could move on to her other relationships.
Daughter Lourdes was born in October 1996. Finally, the press had their Madonna and child moment. But by the time of the Evita premiere, Carlos barely rated a mention.
I've been blessed with two incredible things, a great movie and a beautiful daughter.
He really wasn't her priority. I mean, it was important for her that he'd be a good father to her daughter, but that didn't really have anything to do with her exactly.
I love Carlos. I thought he was great. You know, I think Carlos is just, you know, he bit off a bit more than he could chew.
But then so, it would appear, had Madonna. It wasn't for nothing he was known as Carlos the Tackle.
Carlos Leon was cast in a play in New York, and there's a intense, very sexy scene in the middle where he's naked on a big bed, big dick hanging out, and everybody gets to see this is what Madonna enjoyed once upon a time.
But by Lourdes' first birthday, Carlos and Madonna had split, and Madge was clocking up the air miles with regular trips to London. She had fallen in lust with a completely unknown broke Brit. He was 10 years her junior, a wannabe scriptwriter, occasional bartender, and full-time Laurence Llewelyn-Bowen lookalike Andy Bird.
With Andy Bird, he was a sort of an uncle, sort of with nail and eye figure, and she found that quite sexy at the time.
And of course, she practically took him out of the gutter, and she gave him a home and money.
Their relationship was very intense and very physical for a short period.
Andy Bird introduced Madonna to a more metaphysical side, you know, of a belief system, and is kind of responsible for her interest in Kabbalah.
So, with Andy's help, Madonna ditched the trashy sex and became a spiritual Earth Mother type person. Her music changed too. 1998's Ray of Light saw a new age Madonna, offering a spiritual alternative to the relentless pace of modern life by dancing around dressed like a hippie, with no sign of her bits anywhere. Shocking stuff. Andy Bird didn't only introduce her to the Kabbalah, he also introduced her to the future Mr. Madonna.
She was going out with Andy still when she turned up at Trudy Styler's party, and then she met Guy, and Andy was sort of toast. There was a brief interlude where the two basically had a fight, allegedly, in the Met Bar, which was great for the tabloid pack.
With Andy out of the picture, it was time for another radical change of image, as Madonna joined the British aristocracy, copping off with a pretend Cockney toff film director.
The first time I met him, I thought, well, how did he ever end up with her?
Guy Ritchie is really the antithesis of anything, everything, every type that she ever went for.
It was as if she wanted to sort of reinvent herself suddenly as a sort of 40-something middle-class wife. It was very odd.
Hello. It was like, what's up with all the, you know, the fake accent? What's going on, you know? She'd been in England for 2 days, and all of a sudden she thinks she's the Queen of England.
And there was a right royal wedding, in a castle and everything. They've also had a male heir, the princeling Rocco.
Guy Ritchie is really what she wanted, the sort of landed gentry. She thought she was going to be and go grouse hunting as a weekend sport.
But it wasn't all country pursuits. Lord and Lady Madge also made a film together, starring Madonna, who was cast away with a hairy Italian in a shipwrecked opposites-attract romantic comedy type thing. Described by critics as a shipwreck, it never made British cinemas, saving us all from Madge's confusing new accent.
Oh, madam, is it now, huh? Changed our tune now that we're on land, haven't we?
But despite the filmic flop, the Ritchies go from strength to strength. And after 6 years together, Guy is now the longest serving of all Madonna's men. So it's been a rocky, rumpo-packed road from Michigan to Material Girl. From True Blue, Blonde Ambition, to Who's Who, quasi-Brit aristocracy. And today, has the newly renamed Esther, the enlightened Earth Mother, really turned her back on Madonna the Man-Eater? And will Guy stay the course, or go the way of all previous flesh?
You know, he looks so, you know, plain and, you know, conduct himself real well. He might be in bed, he might be hell. He may be, you know, one of those wild men in bed.
I think he's a very nice guy, and he gives her the confidence of being herself, and he's a solid base in the ground, you know, for her and the family.
He seems like a pretty cool guy. I don't know him personally, of course, but from what I can tell, he seems like he's a pretty cool guy. Seems like him and I would get along well.
This thing with Guy ends, I think it'll be a huge surprise to everybody, because she's learned how to be in a relationship. She's learned how to be a better person in a relationship, and how to be a great mother.
What's the best thing about married life for you two?
You give me fever when you kiss me.